Welcome to another episode of Resortera Wave, the first one of 2024. Just so you get into perspective, it's been 10 years since the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, the one where Germany dismantled Brazil in Brazil. The no era penal mundial. Um, Memo Ochoa stopping those magnificent saves or stops, whatever you want to call it, against Brazil. Giovanni scored that golazo against the Netherlands. I still think about him many days. So those Mexico beat the Croatia that 4 years later went on to play in the World Cup final. So it's crazy how time flies. So we'll talk a little bit about Mexican football as we always do. Oscar, great seeing you in the first episode of 2024.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's always great to talk Mexican football for you. One, I feel old. That's 10 years. That's crazy. One of my favorite World Cups too in my lifetime that I've seen. And unfortunately, it's been 10 years and pretty much the same situation of Mexican football, right? For the most part, we had some little glimpses, but nothing has changed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, since then, we had that proceso with Osorio. We had that, the
Olympics.
The Olympics. No. What do you mean the Olympics? Well, the Olympics with Jimmy Lozano.
Yeah.
What else did we have around that time? Coca. It was brief, but he was there in that mix. And now we got Jimmy Lozano. And when we look at it from the Liga MX perspective, we got the Leagues Cup now. I think Gignac has been an integral part of those last 10 years in Tigres and what Tigres has come out to become in Liga MX.
Cruz Azul finally won the title in that.
That Atlas bicampeonato de Atlas. So I think when you look at it, it's been. I wouldn't say that there's been massive advancements. You can make the argument that actually El Tri has actually gone descended a little bit in level. But nevertheless, I think there's a lot of lessons learned from that World Cup specifically to what we saw recently in the 2022. I think the 2014 World Cup, from a performance standpoint, was way better than what we saw in 2022. No, and what the team actually showed on the pitch, what it actually tried to do, and let it be known that World Cup in 2014, Vela wasn't part of it. And Vela should have been part of it. I think it would have been a massive difference with the whole deal. And as we speak now, we don't know where Vela's going to play. There's still a slim glimmer of hope that he might end up in Liga MX. I don't think it will happen, but he might end up in Liga MX. It's still possible. As we speak right now, Chicharito Hernandez is probably days away from officializing his move to Chivas. And I think, it's I don't know. You see, for example, Raul Gimenez, I think in the last month since we last recorded an episode, Raul has been doing pretty good in Fulham. Scoring goals, I think that's pretty good, especially after what he suffered in 2020 or 2021. It was a major injury. I think it was 2020, right around the pandemic. Or 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020 because I remember the stadiums were empty, so it happened during the pandemic.
Yeah, so look, a lot of things have happened. So it's the list is long, but I think one topic right now is the future of Santi Gimenez. Yesterday, Sunday, we're recording this Monday, January 15th. Happy MLK Day, by the way. Respect, and it's a big day for us here in the U.S. But what I was saying, I saw Santi. He scored a goal yesterday. They drew 2-2, I think, Feyenoord. Since that loss against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, I think Feyenoord has sort of gone down. No, I don't think the team is in a great shape. They were way better last season for sure. They ended up winning. But I think a lot of has to do with what his future will be. No, I think offers will be there. Now, we got to see exactly what decision he will make. The decision Feyenoord has to make, he has to make, and of course the clubs that might be interested.
No, I agree. I think we were talking about this, and you're thinking offers might even come in now for this window. And historically, the January window is a bit more complicated for clubs to try to sign players. Um, but we've seen it. I think you brought it up. Erling Haaland came in the January window. Another one that I was thinking about was the Aubameyang to Arsenal too. So
Yeah.
it could happen. Premier League team. It could happen too, where they actually have the money. If it does happen, but we'll see. I don't think so because, like I said, I think Feyenoord they're in the money. They're in the money business too, so they want to squeeze out as much money as they can. If they can hold off another 6 months, they'll get at least another 20 million more.
The thing that I see right now with Santi, Oscar, is that I do see a desperate scenario coming from England. That there's going to be multiple teams that will want to have a striker. No, and the main one I probably think is Arsenal, because Tottenham just got Timo Werner from Leipzig, so they're out of the picture, I think, now at this point. But Arsenal's, I think, a very intriguing possibility, because they're right there in the hunt, no? And it seems that they do need a goal scorer, no? Someone that is going to put the ball behind the net. Because, Gabriel Jesus has been on and off. We assume that Gabriel Jesus would be the guy to be doing the scoring. But,
Would he
he's
be
not.
captain in the Champions League if he goes to Arsenal
That's a good question.
for Champions League for more than anything?
Yeah. I don't think so, eh? This is this is just me playing with fire right now, but I don't think it will matter. I think he can
I was
play.
just curious. More than anything, they probably want it for the league.
Yeah, the league is the key thing here. I mean, I think that when you look at what Arsenal needs, and of course we're thinking big here.
Yeah,
I think
just
Arsenal
throwing.
probably has other strikers that they're looking. I think the guy from what was the club, Brentford, I believe. Tony or
Ivan Tony, the one with the betting, right?
yeah. Well,
He's still suspended.
a murky situation, but he is one of the most intriguing
He's good though.
possibilities out there, no? So his name has been thrown into the mix. And one club that has come in the last week, West Ham became interested, no? And a lot of people say, why would Santi go to West Ham? No, it's not a top club, It's but when you look at West Ham play and what they sort of try to do on the field, I think Santi would feast there. I do think that if West Ham has the money and they're like, we like this player, let's bring him over. Moyes has been liking the Netherlands in the last. Edson came from there, Kudus, and let's keep in mind, Kudus right now is an African Cup of Nations. So I think there was one game where you really saw that they didn't have someone up top with of course, Kudus and Santi are not the same player, but they do have that dynamic. They're able to cover a lot of ground, those two. So it's a possibility also, West Ham. And the third one, I think that could be a possibility, is Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid right now is sort of in a limbo. They were knocked out from the Supercopa. Defensively, they're not so well, but I think they still have a proper team to make a run in the Champions League. I think with Antoine Griezmann playing at the level that he's playing, and considering that Memphis Depay injures basically every other week, he does have a possibility also with Atletico Madrid.
No, definitely. I think it's one of those situations too. If you can lock down a striker of that caliber, then again, we don't know. He hasn't been tested at that higher level, and we kind of saw in the Champions League where it mattered. It didn't really work out too much for him, especially the Atletico series or just that one game he played. But he did score against Lazio, so I still think there's the potential in him. But how? I mean, I hate to say as someone who was like a more defensive player, but it really is like you really need that guy to put in those 10, 15 goals a season, even 20 goals once you reach that elite level. And trying to get it right with Santi, that's something that we're trying to figure out if he's going to be that, because someone that we talk about is Darwin from Liverpool. Liverpool spent a lot of money on him too, and it hasn't worked out entirely to what I'm assuming what Liverpool expected. So I think that's that thing too. We got to keep in mind with Santi and the big teams. But I think to your point, why go to a West Ham? You kind of take away that pressure too. From like if you went to straight in Arsenal, you had to be scoring like every week. Versus with West Ham, I think that's why Edson is thriving there too. Instead of like if you reunited with Ten Hag, and you could just see that situation over there. I don't know. You got to see the situation too, and kind of try to look at it hindsight, not just jump on the gun real quick. But I'd say still wait till the summer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a best case scenario, the move happens in the summer. You know, he's able to do a preseason, but also keep in mind the summer is gonna be busy for Santi and El Trino. He has to play with the national team, so that means that he won't make it on. He won't be at the start of the preseason. So, and that affects, especially when you move to a new club, and if the price tag is high, all eyes are going to be on you. But that's an issue that everyone else is going to suffer. You know, the Uruguayans, the Argentines, the Brazilians also are going to be involved.
Even the Europeans, the Euro is going to be this summer too. So
yeah, is it this summer or next summer? Because this summer is Olympics, no?
2024. I'm pretty sure it's this. It's one of those times where we get the double one, where we have like it's a mini World Cup. Because 2016 we had the Copa America too and the Euro, and now it's added again, which is going to be nice.
What a year, man! What a year! The Euros, the Copa America, the Olympics. It's something. Fortunately, Mexico's not in the Olympics, no, this time around, so that kind of sucks. It goes to tell how bad things have been. You know, it goes back to Mexico's not even in the Olympics this time around. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think that I do think there's I wouldn't say it's like 100% chance, but I do think there's a good chance.
You never know
that Santi might move in the next weeks, because if the offer comes right now and it's very big, I don't think Feyenoord is gonna be like, no, let's wait till the summer. If the offer is above 50 and is right now, I think they're letting him go. You know, even I wouldn't be surprised if even, I mean, maybe I know they might be shooting 60, 70, considering what happened with Darwin, you know, and but also keep in mind, what helped Darwin a lot was Benfica went deep in that Champions League, you know, and so his price tag elevated even more because he was scoring in the knockout stages of the Champions League. And with Santi is, you know, he won the league. He's probably going to be the goal scorer of the league this season, but we'll see what happens if he goes deep in the Europa League, for example, or the Conference League, or one of those, no?
Europa,
I believe. So I don't know. You know, it depends a lot on how that happens. But I think there's no way of hiding it that he is Mexico's top prospect right now. I mean, there's no other player close to him. You know, maybe Edson Alvarez, but of course Edson has been in Europe already for a while. And he already has 2 World Cups in his back. Santi doesn't even have a World Cup in his back because the other coach was dumb, no? I mean, I'm sorry to the old man, but to be honest, that was one of the most stupidest decisions I've ever seen from a coach. You know, it's like, and this goes to another topic, but, you know, Santi should already at least have 1 World Cup. And if he had 1 World Cup in his back, the price tag would definitely be, you know, 50, 60, but all those little things matter, I think, even when you sell, no? It's like, this guy already played a World Cup, you know, and so much minutes in this tournament. So, I mean, I think that we'll see. There's definitely going to be a move either this winter or in the summer for sure.
We'll see. We'll have to monitor and see what comes into fruition more than anything. But more than anything, I just hope it's the right move. I think as fans and even the players, you get blinded away from like the club's crest in a way.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, remember when Raul went to
Atleti?
That was huge for me, man. Like as a youth watching that, even though he played for America, but I just want every Mexican player to be, you know, repping Mexico at the highest level, and it didn't work out.
maybe he was too raw, no, and that's why it worked out in Benfica. And even in Benfica, there was at times where he was a sub, no.
Yeah.
So it's
Or I'd rather take what he like. Imagine he went to Wolves. Maybe not. Maybe Wolves when he first went to Europe, where he was like the understudy, and then he broke through. Instead of going through those years at Atletico and Benfica, and then he just had those breakout seasons. Maybe he would have 2 or 3 breakout seasons in the Prem with Wolves, and then move to a bigger team like an Atletico, or maybe it's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
top
yeah.
6 team.
No, there's different cases. I mean, look at Vela, for example. We were talking about Vela earlier. It's Real Sociedad is not a big club in Europe, in Spain, let alone Europe, no. But that's where he flourished. That's where he really stood out, no. And it goes to say to the level of the Mexican footballer. I mean, the level of the Mexican footballer is, captain of Porto, being a captain of Porto, winning a champion, a league title.
Which
You
isn't
know,
bad. It's a good step. We can't just start going to Real Madrid and Barca
yeah,
like
or
the
Bayern Munich,
Brazilians.
no. I think
It's
that, and when you think about it, in a lot of in the last 2 3 years, there's been a lot of this about Ache, including myself. I mean, I didn't think that he should have been in the World Cup, but he was there. It's a big deal, no? The captain of Porto, and winning a league title as a captain. It's not easy. And I think that's sort of the level. That I think those are the examples to look at and to try to multiply, no? Um, to make more common. That's the route. And that's it, maybe. And then if they play for Man U, Real Madrid, Atleti, Barca, that I know that's like the top of the top, but
and that's what we all want to.
Yeah, but that's rare. I mean, it's you think about it, the fact that Rafa Marquez existed. I mean, that's crazy. Now that you look at how the situation is right now in Mexican football, it's like, how the heck did that happen? But it did, and now as we're speaking, there's a good chance he could coach Barca at one point. I'm not gonna say right away, but he's there already. And if you're in the right place at the right time, crazy things like that could happen. That Rafa Marquez coaches Barcelona. But I do think that the best case scenario for Santi is to go to a club where he's gonna play. No, that he's not, or that there's not that much crazy pressure around him. No, that because
Baby steps.
even Haaland did it. I mean, Haaland went from Leipzig
That's
to
perfect
Dortmund.
example. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't go to Real Madrid or Man City. He could have done it easily. But let me tell you, those months in Dortmund really helped him because one, he built more confidence, and second, he got minutes. He played all the time with Dortmund. There was never it was like a moment where you doubted that he wasn't gonna play. And Dortmund wasn't competing. Of course, they were competing against Bayern Munich, but it's different that sort of scenario. I mean, I think right now, when you look at a club, let's say all of a sudden Bayer Leverkusen is interested in Santi Gimenez, which is possible. I'm not gonna say it could happen.
It'd be great, to be honest, if Xavi stays.
Yeah, no, or even if he does leave, if Xavi leaves and another coach, but that's a good club to just build confidence.
Yeah,
and then you can move to the bigger. But I think you really have to sort of measure and balance it out. You can't just be like, okay, Santi is ready for Arsenal, Santi is ready for Real Madrid. When I don't think so, no, because he has proven. He has had showings in the Champions League that have been really below par. The best case example is the game against Atleti. Misses that were sitters and, own goal, all that stuff. It was the pressure ate him up. But, we'll see. We'll see. Moving to another topic, the start of Liga MX already happened this past weekend. I watched some bits of the league, I would say. I think I saw Cruz Azul Pachuca because, they're back at Estadio Azul, or now what Centro de los Deportes, Ciudad de los Deportes, whatever.
No, that's Estadio Azul, man. America's playing at Estadio Azul too.
Yeah, well, no, Azcárraga said they're still playing at Azteca, and then really? They'll see if they'll go to Ciudad de los Deportes. I don't know how that's working out.
I thought they're
Was
doing the construction or
well,
whatever.
yeah, I
Okay.
thought too, but they haven't started. You know how Mexicans are. We're gonna start in 2025, probably the the remodeling of Azteca. So that's the thing right now. I was intrigued with Anselmi, because there was a lot of things going on. It was his style. He made it's all his cause right now. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, there's gonna be a lot of heat, I think. And there was already heat on Saturday night as they lost 1-0 to Pachuca with a goal from Salomon Rondon. I think he's the top goal scorer of the Venezuelan national team. One of the greatest for Venezuelan football, without a doubt. I think he'll be someone that we'll be hearing that name a lot in Liga MX this season. If he stays healthy, if Pachuca really finds way of getting him more goals, Pachuca is not going to be an easy team. But what are your thoughts about Anselmi and what he's going to bring to Cruz Azul, Oscar?
No, yeah. I'm excited for just a new era more than anything, especially the last year with Tuca and Joaquin taking over. It was just all over the place. It feels like a fresh start. Thinking we need to get behind him and just be patient because right away, right after the match, you just saw all these videos like "fuera técnico," what are we doing? Bring back Escobar, blah blah blah. But without bringing context to, we played a Pachuca team who's had the manager for 2 years, so
Yeah.
versus a guy who literally just had some sort of preseason with so limited a time of the new players too. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to give him patience. It's hard to judge him in one game, but I'm happy we're back at the stadium more than anything. At that stadium, I couldn't stand being at the Azteca, to be honest. But yeah, I thought we didn't look too bad against a team who's been playing
You won the
consistently.
Liga Azteca, though, Oscar. So I mean, you got that. I think that played a role.
That's true. Pero también, I don't know. It would mean a lot more if we could win it in this one.
Azul.
It'd be way, way, way more. But yeah, we'll see. I think one thing that stood out for me too was seeing America play with puro Mexicanos too. That was big.
That was big, eh?
I don't know if
And
you,
then
I don't know if you
Chavita
were to see
Reyes
that.
with a doblete. Everything came towards the end of the game, no? But I think the substitutions worked for Jardine. It's an intriguing project, that one right now, because what happens now, it's all win-win for America, because they took off the weight of not winning a title, so they got that out of the picture, and now there's just more room to kind of play around. And I think Jardine is pretty straightforward. I mean, this is a guy that coached the U23s of Brazil, so he is good at coaching the youth. I think that it's a good club for young footballers to develop. No, hopefully Lara develops a little bit better. But again, Chicote Calderon came over, so all those little things. I mean, but I think it's special that they play with a non-Mexican team. There's the
That was huge for me watching.
Mozumbito too. Mozumbito needs to get more confidence. But I think that those are the minutes that you got to take advantage. Salvador Reyes took advantage of them for sure. But Juarez and Israel Reyes, the center backs as well. More Juarez. I think Juarez is one of the top center backs for Mexico in the future. So I think that's important to observe. Another topic I think in Liga MX is before we ended with these teams, I think Anselmi will get the best out of Charlie. And I already saw it in that game.
He looked good, yeah, to be fair. He didn't look
connected, really.
Engaged.
He looked like he wanted to prove something, and I think that's important, from him. He has skill. It's just that in the last years, it was just so slow, so like
the club level didn't help. The club situation didn't help either.
And the club situation didn't help as well. And I think the center back that made the mistake, the left-footed center back, it was a big mistake there. I think he needs to, but I think a lot of times when an Argentine comes into Liga MX, they come cocky, they're like, I got this, and then when they're playing, they realize, oh shoot, this is actually
Good level.
It's a good level. And I think that's what happened to the center back from Cruz Azul. I mean, I think he wanted to be so fancy and everything, and he disregarded the pressing the Pachuca, or he definitely didn't look at video of Pachuca. And then of course he just messed it up. And of course the added pressure of Escobar played a significant role. But I think there was interesting things from Cruz Azul. I mean, Cruz Azul did arrive to the final third. It was
No,
just
we
not.
played like attractive
It
football,
was
and
attractive. It was attractive, definitely.
it was actually because especially what I've been watching the last, even when we won with Reynoso, I love him, but it was brutal to watch sometimes.
Yeah,
But it just goes about styles in a sense sometimes too, and if we can win and just give him the time to, and get the right players too who are committed to the cause of his philosophy, just like any team, players who commit, all the little things come into fruition. It's a recipe for success. So hopefully, the fans can give him the time. I know playing at the big four, you just have to win every tournament, even though that's
yeah,
not the right philosophy in my opinion, because there can only ever be one winner every season. But we'll see. I'm excited.
yeah. And I mean, another coach that is debuting in Liga MX is Fernando Gago with Chivas. Um, and Chivas is an interesting case, no? There's the Cade Cowell signing. I never thought that was gonna happen. I mean, it came so sudden. I
I thought
mean,
it
I
was a
knew there was
joke.
and then, I knew there was interest, and the once he got his Mexican passport, I knew that was a green light. That was sort of the signal that stuff's gonna happen. Um, I've seen him play in MLS several times, Cowell. For his age, I think he has a very, very developed, body frame and everything. I think that's unquestionable. Right now, what I'm intrigued is how he's gonna play on the field, no, or if he's gonna be able to, to tocar la pelota bien and to really
Hmm.
connect with the rest of his teammates, because it's difficult with Chivas.
No, I mean, one thing to add to that, I think it's just the nature of the game too, Nayib, especially in MLS. I don't know how much you pay attention to like youth development here in the U.S. The emphasis on the physicality and the athletic of the player, I
Well,
think
this
that's
dude
a
has all
priority,
those things already.
and that's why he's a product of that, which is good
Yeah.
for him. That can translate into it, the technical side, and he has a good soccer IQ. We're gonna find out. Um, but I think Chivas is really out of options. You either pay, how much did they pay? 3, 4 for him.
Some, which is not bad, eh? If it's 3-4 million, if it's in that area, considering what they paid for Vega, I think they paid more for Vega than they did to this dude. And this dude is
Exactly,
supposedly interest from Europe.
exactly. And then versus, I don't know, trying to get the Jurado kid from the Caxa. They probably, if Chivas wanted to buy him, what is that, like 8 mil, maybe double that,
Yeah.
9, 10, maybe, who knows?
But what,
Um,
yeah, what does that say about the Liga Mexican market? I mean, it's just brutal. It's just crazy to think that Heriberto Jurado is more expensive than Kate Cowell. And not to say, I mean, but there's elements from Kate Cowell of like, you can plug this kid in a Bundesliga team and he'll do stuff. I don't know if he's gonna be an amazing player, but he has the prototype to just fit in right away in any of those teams, no, especially the mid table to low table teams.
he reminds me of an athletic Antuna in some capacity, but I think Antuna is more technical than him.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, the Liga Mex, the Mexican market for our Mexican players is just crazy. I mean, I don't know if you've been looking at just the window. Like you just see like these South American kids from like Ecuador going to like these European clubs going for like 2.5, 3 million, versus in Mexico. Like imagine a kid at that age that another Mexican team will pay that, if not double. Just goes back to our whole like issue with trying to export players too.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, and I think this the thing about Cade. He has to understand where he's at, no, or understand really what it means to play for Chivas. Because if he doesn't get that right away, I think that there might be issues, no, that the pressure. But it's a very interesting case because I don't remember anything of this sort happening. I mean, the guy plays for the U.S. men's national team, and he's gonna play for Chivas, which is, I always thought Chivas was puro mexicano in the sense of like playing for the Mexican national team, you know, that thing. Um, but this time is different, no? It's sort of a little bit like Athletic de Bilbao with the Williams brothers. Iñaki plays for Ghana, and Nico Williams plays for Spain. No, well here it's a different case, but there's gonna be a player. Well, there's
At
no
least they
brothers.
grew up though in the Basque country, even specifically in the Basque country. This kid grew up in San Jose and he's playing for the U.S. men's national team too. But
Yeah, so
we
it's
can't get
different,
into
isn't
that.
it?
Otherwise,
But look, they got to think outside the box, like you
they
said.
have
I
to.
mean, if the price is like for Heriberto Jurado are that huge, and we know how much Alexis Vega look how much they spent, and it was a failure. No, it's definitely a failure when you look at it at how it is right now, the situation of it. Um, but there is gonna be a sort of like spotlight specifically on Cade and what Cade is gonna produce because he's so different from the rest. No, so it's gonna be interesting to see that.
He's gonna come
I,
in with not knowing Spanish at all either, right? It seems like
yeah. So that's I don't know. Like, do you think this move happens if there wasn't a Leagues Cup? Because the same thing goes now with Brandon Vasquez going to Monterrey. Do you think, like, I don't know, I'm not conspiracy
it's a
theories or
good
anything,
question.
or anything, but like Monterrey, do you think Monterrey looks at Brandon Vasquez if there wasn't a Leagues Cup? Or like, because I see Brandon Vasquez, he's a good top goal scorer in MLS. But do you think that's going to translate in Liga MX? Or like if there's better options in South America instead of Brandon Vasquez? Because Monterrey can buy anything in the Americas. Anybody. I said anything. Anybody, no? Like why Brandon Vasquez? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like is
yeah,
that
no,
produced because of the Leagues Cup? Like there has to be some sort of like, well, look, we're playing this league together now. We gotta make more moves together now. Like make it look like I pass you some players, you pass me some players, and vice versa, no?
I think we've just seen that, ever since MLS trying to catch up to Liga MX, poaching off players from Liga MX that maybe didn't work and they worked over here. I mean, for my case, Gustavo Bo from the Revs,
Or
he's been.
Lucas Elarrayan from Tigres to
hmm
Columbus is one of the best examples.
hmm Whether it's because of the Leagues Cup would have happened, the Monterrey one is a. We would have to speak to a Monterrey fan because I really don't know idea why. He's a good player, but I don't know why they got him. But the kid Cowell, I think it would have happened regardless because Chivas is so desperate for
For
Mexican
something.
players.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they're just paying crazy amount of money on talent that's not worth the actual amount. Otherwise, but that's their values, right? They have to do that. The Vasquez one, like I said, like you mentioned, it could be, but
That
no,
one, that one's
I don't
tough,
know.
man. Because if you think about it, you're fitting Rogelio Funes Mori shoes. Funes Mori moving to Pumas, which is a surprising move, to my opinion. I didn't see that one coming. But that's important. I don't. It looks like Berterame, if he stays healthy, he's gonna be the go-to guy, number 9 for Rayados. But I think if you're bringing Brandon Vasquez in, you want him to be your 9. No, he is the one that's supposed to fit there. But Berterame, I don't know if he's gonna play with 2 strikers or if he's gonna go with Ortiz. I don't know. That's something for Ortiz, but
If he's a backup, then I think it works.
a
That's a good.
backup.
It works. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But the way I took it, how I saw it, it seemed like he was going to be the main man. But I don't know. I'm not that close to watching Monterrey or Rayados like that.
Yeah.
But I still found, regardless, I still found it a really weird move. Compared, like you said, Monterrey can buy anyone.
Anyone in South America, no? A good Ecuadorian, Colombian, Argent. But like we said, Rayados has gone that route, and some of them haven't worked so well. You know what I mean? I think the Duban, what was his name? There was this Colombian they brought in, and he got hurt right away. But
To your point too, yeah. I mean, you bring that up too. How much money has they put in, and they've I think they've only won one title, at least that I can recall that they've won, and all the rest have been all like Tigres.
Yeah, I think the one Vergara came in one time, and um, I think he's on loan with Santos. Aquí, that's what the wiki's telling me. But yeah, that's the thing. I feel the Leagues Cup is changing a little bit the
You think?
paradigm of things. Because even when you look at the MLS market as well, Miles Robinson, a U.S. center back, U.S. men's national team center back, stays in Cincinnati. Like instead of going
To Europe.
to Europe, for something, but like he stays in MLS because they still. I don't know. Like I was seeing these interviews when Fútbol Américas with Hercules Gomez and Sebastián Salazar. They were interviewing various people, and I was talking with you. Damn, Pulido's English is really good. Pulido went the interview all in English. Herrera had to be translation and stuff. Hector Herrera. But they also interviewed Walter Zimmerman, who was another center back for the U.S. men's national team, center back for Nashville. And he talked a lot about Leagues Cup, like we made that final, adding importance to it, the fact that they made a final, the Leagues Cup final. And they lost it to, of course, eventually to Messi's Inter. But I think now that we saw the first iteration of the Leagues Cup, we're seeing the second one this year. I do think it's influencing a lot, some moves, not all of them, but I don't think without the Leagues Cup, like if the Leagues Cup didn't exist, I don't think Cade goes to Chivas and Vasquez goes to Monterrey. I'm gonna leave it that way. And I think there might be some other ones that might be coming up, because I did hear the rumor about Jonathan Dos Santos going to Miami after his deal is over with America. Chicharito to Chivas, he's coming from an MLS club. From Jonathan Dos Santos, when he arrived to America, he came from an MLS club. No, so there's like sort of that. Hector Herrera will likely come back to a Liga MX side after his time with Houston. No, but that remains to be seen. But it's interesting seeing it, because it's the region where we live in.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think too, like, especially when you mix up, because Vasquez made a hat trick on Chivas in the Leagues Cup.
I think so.
So they look at that and it's like, oh, that can translate to Liga MX. Let's get him too. Pero I don't know. That Monterrey one's still definitely a tricky move for me to break down. Pero I think the Kid Cowell one happens regardless. And with Chivas, I mean, does he go to like a Cruz Azul or Pumas? I don't think so. But to Chivas, it makes perfectly sense. I mean, they got a Spanish kid on the team.
He hasn't played, right? Now he hasn't hard. He didn't start in this week. And this week, I thought he was going to start, but he didn't.
I mean, they had some Decas too on there, knowing that he was probably going to choose the U.S. anyway. And he's not the first one either to have. They're not the first ones to be.
So technically, right now, Hercules Gomez could have played in Chivas. Hercules Gomez, who, he played for the U.S. men's national team.
That's interesting, yeah. Chivas never went in for him.
Yeah, but like if you think about it, if we like move back in time, he technically could have played in Chivas. Even if he played for the U.S. men's national team, because Cowell was playing for the U.S. men's national team, and now he's playing for Chivas.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That could have happened.
Trying to think, I think this is the first time though where they're gonna have someone.
In my lifetime, it's the first time.
Who's gonna be has the Mexican passport?
Because Miguel Ponce I think Ponce was born in Sacramento.
Yeah, he was born in Cali.
Yeah,
but he plays obviously.
He played for Chivas and then he played for Mexico. No, so it's.
But did you also hear too? There was this I forget who it was, but one of these kids, Mexican American kids from Cali, came to Chivas, and he was telling the story how he got there and what the process and everything is. And he said when he got there, he has to say, "I denounce the U.S. I'm Mexican. I commit to the Mexican national team." I don't know if you've seen that story.
Is that the one that was the goalkeeper in RSL? The one that then went to San Luis and didn't work out, and now he's like disappeared all of a sudden.
Might have been him, but I
The
remember
goalkeeper?
seeing. No, it wasn't a
No,
goalkeeper.
it wasn't a
It might have
goalkeeper.
been, but regardless, the point is that when if you're a dual nat like a Mexican Americans, they ask them when they go play for Chivas, you have to denounce the U.S. You're gonna commit to Mexico,
Yeah.
so that way it counts. I guess given them, but this was a while back. This was like early 2010s, maybe early 2000s when they did that. And I'm just thinking because Chivas has to adapt to the situation similar to what kind of Bilbao also does in Spain. There's only so many pool of players that you're gonna reach to. But I think you're right. In our lifetime, this is gonna be the first time where a Mexican player plays for another national team on Chivas. So puro Mexicano, they gotta rebrand their marketing.
Well,
Chivas, right?
Fernando Hierro needs to do stuff. He came to do different stuff. He's definitely doing something way different, way out of the way out of the league. But we'll see. We'll find out if it works out. Not so long ago, Chivas was in the final. You know, I think last year. No, it
It
happened
was
last year.
last tournament.
So the base, the foundation is still there. New coach. Um, I think Guzman really. I don't know how much he has in him, but I think Guzman will need to be equally the same player as he was a year ago in order for Chivas to really be a protagonist. Mozo is another name that I think will be important, and definitely Cade. He's gonna be. It's gonna be interesting. I think it will. How much it will affect the team, the arrival of Chicharito? Will it affect in a good way, or will it affect in a bad way? No,
Yeah,
especially
well, that's
because
the discussion right now, right? They say that's he's a leader, but then they bring up all the other stuff too. So
this is a new Chicharito. This is not the Chicharito that played in Manchester United.
I don't know.
From a playing perspective and a mental perspective, different guy. So I don't know if that's how it's gonna work out this time around.
I don't know. What do you think? You'll be positive?
I just because I like the guy and I want him to do well, I'll say that it will work out. But it's more. I think it's more complex than people think it is. It's the return of the prodigious kid, no, the el niño prodigio, no. But this is not the same dude that left Chivas, what, 14 years ago or something like that. It's a different dude. So I don't know how much that's gonna play in. Like when I look at Chicharito right now, this is a crazy thing. Because going back to the Pulido interview in English, I saw Pulido more level-headed than Chicharito, and that's crazy to say because 14 years ago, it was different. Pulido
Yeah.
was a crazy one, and Chicharito was the level-headed, no. Um, but it remains to be seen. Maybe he does. He's coming off a knee injury too, which I don't know how much that's going to affect him. If he's going to be the same. He's definitely not going to be the same level. But how much that's going to affect his playing time. But definitely it's going to be a talking point. The minute he's presented, it's going to be Chivas is going to be the place to be at, because there's so many storylines there. Gago, Cowell, Chicharito, and then they might still bring someone else
Vega.
in. Vega's still there.
Do you try to?
Do
You're
you
gonna
put
pay
him
him
in?
out, or try to squeeze out like the last 6 months of his contract to at least get you a title? At least
I'll run at a title.
recuperate some of your investment.
Nah, no, we'll see. Chivas de Guadalajara. Interesting. We'll find out. Oscar. I think we're gonna end it right here. The first episode of 2024. I think it was mainly Santi, Gimenez. Then we talked a little bit Liga MX, and then we just stayed in Liga MX. We threw out some conspiracy theories there and there, but that's just us talking on a Monday night. Hopefully you enjoy the episode. We'll try to record more often this year. That's what this year. It's a new year. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on with our lives. And if we keep doing these and you watch them, thank you. And then hope for the best. Hopefully we got some nice storylines in 2024 that are helpful for Mexican football. And yeah, we'll see. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Oscar, for the time.
No problem. Thank you.